Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 360 Sports Show. We're coming to you live through Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. I am Andrew Pizzelli. He is Christian Lauber. We got a lot to get into today. We'll be talking about the Suns leading 2-0 in the NBA Finals, the Lightning capturing the Stanley Cup again, some UFC 264, and a couple of other little leftover notes from the past week in sports. You can join us anytime in the comment section of the live streams or by emailing the show, the360sportshow at gmail.com, anytime throughout the show or throughout the week. If you're one of our podcast listeners, we have a dedicated following there as well. And so if you want to reach us throughout the week, you can email the show and we'll get to your questions during our mailbag segment. So without any further ado, Christian, how you doing here on 7-11 Day, July 11th?
Yes, sir. Hanging in. Not too bad. Yeah, I don't know what else to say than that. Had a late one last night.
I was gonna say maybe we'll start there. You stayed up. You not only purchased, but you stayed up for the UFC 264 event. Overall, I'd say a good night. The card up and down was exciting. Even some of the preliminary fights were exciting. I guess I watched the highlights. You watched the whole thing. So give me kind of your initial overarching take from the night as a whole before we get into kind of each fights, at least the ones that were interesting and worth talking about.
Yeah, the prelims were pretty good. But in terms of the card itself, other than the co-main event, which kind of was a dud, a lot of standing around, and other than that, it was pretty much on the mat the entire time with not much happening. And just listening to Dana White afterwards, he was not impressed with that fight either. But so the co-main event, other than that, really good card. Greg Hardy, many people know him from the NFL, but he got knocked out last night to a guy that does shoeies from other people's shoes. It is disgusting, but hey, it's exciting, I guess. That's his celebration tactic. But honestly, other than that co-main event, they kind of just absolutely flopped, which is surprising because I think Stephen Thompson overall is he's got a unique style, so he's fun to watch normally, but it just turned into Burns taking him down. They sat on the mat. It was quite a snooze fest. And then obviously McGregor and Poirier kind of flopped in a way in terms of one guy's ankle snapped, and that was the end of that after one round.
Do you want to see it again?
No, definitely not. Once, twice, 3 times on accident is enough for me, so I'm good there. But outside of that, I would say the 2 fights honestly that caught my eye more than the finale because of the ankle break was Irene Aldana is a monster. She absolutely pummeled. I'm gonna butcher her name. Yana Kunitskaya, I think is her name. Really good boxer. And then the other one was Sean O'Malley, who landed 230 strikes, significant strikes, not just strikes, which is
it was like 265 strikes, right, or something like that.
Yeah, I think he tried for a total of over 300, and he landed 230, which were significant, meaning he got him. And credit to his opponent Moutinho, because he just stood there and walked forward like a zombie and took him.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? I give that kid credit. What was it, 10 days notice as a replacement? Yeah. And it's just like, stay up, get paid.
Pretty much. And he did.
And he did. And then, as what you said, Dana White said, as soon as the fight was over, right to the hospital, my friend.
Yep, pretty much. And a lot of people are upset with the stoppage. That was stopped with about 30 seconds left in the third round, so final round, because he was eating punches again for the third time. And I heard Dana White, and I kind of agree with him. So a lot of people are upset about this, like, oh, let him finish. And White was saying afterwards, this could have been stopped like the second round, first round. So he had no problem with it. It was Herb Dean, who is probably one of the best in the business. But yeah, I didn't really have an issue with it, only because the guy took so many punches. Like I'm worried for his like brain at that point. Like his face is not good. So
yeah. Well, maybe it's like one of those it's like a Dragon Ball Z thing. Maybe he was just thinking like, I'll absorb all of the punches and then I can deliver one supercharged punch.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when your
he just needed those last 30 seconds, he was holding on to it.
I mean, at the end of by the end of it, I don't even know how he saw anything.
That's true.
Like it was just not good. So I had no problem with the stoppage there. So that was really, to me, I think that ended up getting the fight of the night. So those guys get paid a little bit more or whatever. But I would overall agree with that, just based on the amount of punches landed is pretty impressive. And taken.
Well, I was gonna say amount of punches absorbed, because for every punch given, and he landed a punch, that guy also took them. And kept going. I
mean, the only other thing I'll say about that is, and I just mentioned this to you, but O'Malley never really got an opportunity to really step into one. And credit to Moutinho, who just stood there and took it, but he was pressuring so heavy and he was just eating every single shot. But like O'Malley never really had an opportunity to kind of step back, get away from him, and go forward.
Space.
So I really feel like if he had gotten the opportunity to step into one, it would have been
the
over
strategy.
Round 1 or 2.
Lean in, buddy.
Yeah.
Lean in.
Just zombify yourself, run into the guy, don't let him get any type of real significant power, which, I mean, he still had power, but not knockout power. And hopefully you're standing there at the end, and he was, to his credit. So
yeah. As you said, McGregor-Poirer 3 obviously does not live up to the hype because McGregor gets hurt.
Yep.
And so now, McGregor won the first meeting. Poirier, decidedly won the second. And now this is, I mean, it's a win for Poirier, but is it an incomplete because McGregor gets hurt? I mean, that's a nasty. I mean, anytime. I mean, God,
it was
just
brutal.
Stepping back, and when you see the buckle and then the next buckle, you're like, oh, not good.
Yeah. No.
And sometimes you see that in real time. You just see like that guy looked like he stepped kind of weird, and then he goes down, and the replay what it's going to show. Ugh.
When you have a body part kind of like this, something's wrong. I mean, he was saying like you could hear him on the mic, just like talking to the doctors. He's like, "Don't let it hang there. Don't let it hang there." And I'm just like, "Oh no." If I didn't want to vomit already, just thinking about that is just, that's good.
But yeah, so that's the disappointment that we don't get to see the full fight.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, to that point, I mean, I don't necessarily think that like McGregor was going in the right direction anyways. I mean, if you want to, he's 1-4 now in his last 5 fights. 1-5 if you want to count the Mayweather bout, I think, or it's something like that. His record is not good in his most recent string of fights.
Sure.
This is a significant injury that's going to take time to recover from. Should McGregor just walk away? Is this it for Conor? Should he? I mean, obviously he's made enough money. He's a big enough personality to get into all sorts of other ventures. And be successful.
He already has them, right? I mean,
and he already has them. He's a great.
He has McGregor Fast program. He has all this stuff already.
Yeah, he's a great promoter. As far as the fighting goes, should he just call it quits now? The injury is a good excuse to say, it's going to take a year more to come back, and it's just age and contract situation. It's just worth saying now's the time. You know what? I didn't want it to be now, but now is the time. Because of the nature of that sport. Instead of coming back and being 2 steps too slow now, and it just starts getting worse and worse. And instead of snapping an ankle and not finishing a fight, he's getting Chris Muccino like off the mat. I don't know about. I mean, I'd always rather be. I wouldn't want to go out for injury, but I mean, everybody knows themselves. Obviously, the guy's an insane competitor, but I feel like it might kind of be the time for Conor. If it's not, I think it's going to end real ugly.
Yeah, I mean, look. So even in the first round before, so apparently, I believe it was a lower tibia shin break. I want to say it was officially maybe. He's in surgery today already, but either way, disgusting. But before that happened, I mean, McGregor, I would say for the first minute and a half, 2 minutes was pretty good. He was hitting leg kicks, he was hitting punches, and then Poirier got him on the ground after a failed guillotine from Conor, and was landing some heavy shots. I mean, you can see the still frames of it. Conor was bleeding from his ear, and he had some cuts over his face briefly, just in that short time. So you never know what can happen if you go to a second round there. And in my opinion, I mean, he still creates buzz for the sport. Is he done? I think his best days are behind him. I'll be honest. I think it's not going to be like it was for him, just based on who knows how long it's going to take him to come back from the injury, first of all. And then beyond that, I think, already they're gonna get something between him and Poirier again. I just have to believe that. And Dana kind of already
alluded to that last night.
Yeah. So that will happen. It's just a matter of when. And even when Conor comes back, I just don't know what degree he's going to be at, what level he'll be at in terms of he'll still create buzz for the sport, but in terms of his fighting, there's just not as much pop. He doesn't. It's not like he's going and he's fighting every other day and every other month or whatever, and he's knocking people out. It's just not that way anymore. So I think his prime and his best days are behind him. Now, for Poirier's standpoint,
his buzz is bigger than his punch now.
Yeah, pretty much. And I still like him. As a fan, you like what he brings to the sport because I mean he's changed it. He makes fights. Like the place last night was buzzing. I mean, it's just when he fights, that's just the way it is. But I feel like Poirier is kind of on the other trajectory where he has just improved immensely, and he's on his way up. Whereas Conor's just kind of fallen back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably time. I mean, especially with how boxing is still a brutal thing to take a pounding in the head. These guys take like 10 times the pounding. Like at some point, it's got. You can't. I mean, I know athletes are going longer and further than ever before with their training and this and that, but this is not about like skill and endurance. This is about skill and endurance. There's no amount of like protein powder or workout regimen that can
immune supplement.
Yeah, there's nothing you can take that's going to like cushion your brain more inside your head.
Yeah.
Despite what Alex Guerrero might tell Tom Brady.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is the sport itself is brutal. So you're not gonna. It's not gonna be like a.
And you don't think the first time he gets back in a ring, some guy's gonna. There's just those. It's all those little kicks, right? That you say like, if somebody just did that little jab kick to me, I'd be down.
Yeah,
just the hit on the side of the knee.
Yeah.
You don't think the first time? I mean, this is not boxing. This is UFC. You don't think the first time he's back in a ring, hey, take him down, go for that ankle.
Yeah.
Like.
WWE style, just give him the Kurt Angle, just ankle lock.
Yeah, there's going to be no way to avoid that.
Right.
It's fair game. It's part of your body. I can go for
Not
your
only
legs.
that, but
I can lean on that. I can kick on it. I'm going to step on it.
Not only that, but his leg kicks are going to be. Is he going to shy away from a leg kick or anything? Because that's
what he opened with. He opened yesterday with like 2 roundhouse kicks in a row.
Yeah.
So probably. How much would that suck? You work all the way back, you throw your first kick in your first fight in like 2 years, and you break your foot again?
Anderson Silva knows the hard way with that break. Like,
Oh,
if I'm him or anybody else that breaks my leg like that, I'm shying away from some kicks. I'll tell you what.
yeah.
So now I'm a different story. Like I don't. Yeah. I use a
You're
fly
more of
swatter
an
and
old
kill
school
some flies.
fisticuffs
That's about
guy.
it.
You want
Yeah.
just old school.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Ah, goodness. Yeah. So I mean, hey, that was some excitement last week. I mean, again, and you said it here, UFC versus boxing, still not even close. UFC is still got it by a mile over boxing right now. The only draw that boxing has was Floyd Mayweather joke boxing Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And
That's what boxing is right now.
that
Charity
speaks
matches.
to itself. And then secondly, I forgot who got knocked out now because they were supposed to have. We've talked about the unifying of some of these belts. Like, let's get we've got like 4 different heavyweight champs. Let's have them fight.
Wilder and Fury, I believe, is what you're.
Well, is it Wilder got COVID? And
Wilder's camp, I believe. Yeah.
yeah, so then that's off. So it's
Or
like
no, Fury's camp.
or one of them, and so it's like that's something that boxing can, if it can finally do that, would be good. You know, let's not have 5 heavyweight champions under different belts. Let's get some of this together. Boxing is just too scattered, it's too over the place, and none of the matchups. Like we said already last night, people are talking, hey, got to get this matchup again. Even though I think you shouldn't, even though I think Conor probably in his sport should call it quits at this point, people will want to see the matchup again. You don't get the matchups in boxing. All these guys, they're all staying away from each other.
You know when you get the matchups in boxing? When it's one of the Paul brothers, TikTok versus YouTube, that's really it right now.
Yeah.
And then when you get Wilder Fury goes down with COVID. So like, there's just not enough.
I want to see Mike Tyson versus Nate Robinson.
Yeah, let's see that one. That's a good one. I don't know where Nate Robinson is now.
Still unconscious.
Yeah, still in the ring.
He's taken, they in Norse mythology, there's the Odin sleep. He sleeps for like 200 years. That's Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is in Odin sleep right now. Still
can't come back from that one.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, elsewhere in the world of sports, if you have any other thoughts on the UFC or McGregor boxing versus UFC, you can drop that in the comments section. We can circle back to that. Or if you're one of our podcast listeners, we are on Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcasts from, and you're listening throughout the week, you can email the show, the360sportshow@gmail.com at any time with your questions or comments. But we're going to move along to the NBA, where the Phoenix Suns 2 wins away from a championship. They're up 2-0. And honestly, this series is kind of playing out exactly how I thought it would. Very surprised to see that Giannis played in Game 1. He was initially listed as doubtful. Played in Game 1, played well, played really well in Game 2.
Well.
I'd say so far, Giannis has manned up. He's shown up and he has done his part. Despite the injury, he's been aggressive. He's been assertive. He's attacking mismatches. He's being relentless. Things that I said, this is what I want. We've all wanted to see him take it to another level and not be afraid of, say, going to the free throw line. That third quarter, he dropped 25 points, most in the last almost 30 years in a quarter in the finals, and he just kept attacking. Doesn't matter if he was going 1 or 2 at the line. Kept attacking. He scored like 13 points in a row. And he was doing it in different ways. They're giving him wide open 3. He took 1. He was getting into the mid-range on Ayton. He pulled up from like 12 feet, hit that. But then he was also posting guys up. He was also just attacking the rim. He played great. Hats off to Giannis. Injury and everything. Being aggressive and assertive like that. That's what they'll need to win a championship this year or down the road, is that consistently. The other guy's got to show up. Middleton, he's a good player.
He was good in Game 1, not so much in Game 2.
But him and Holiday have to shoot well. It's a given. The Bucks won't win a game, let alone a series, if those two guys don't play well offensively. Unless Giannis is going to drop 60, it's not going to happen. But especially with Giannis banged up, you can't expect more than 30 points out of him a night. He was a monster defensively too, which was impressive, getting the rebounds and stuff with that leg. But Middleton and Holiday, man, talk about disappointing. I mean, they're paying him a lot of money. and they want to keep him around and give him a big contract, but it's like that's a scary thing from Kevin O'Connor at The Ringer.
I saw this as well.
Eric Bledsoe's and Drew Holiday's splits are identical.
Yeah.
That is scary. Holiday's got to be better. They expected him to be better.
What'd they give up for him? 3 first-rounders?
Oh, a whole bunch of first-round picks. Yeah. Basically, all of their draft, they gave up their ability to make any other future moves for the next few years.
Yeah.
Unless you're trading away a player to get picks or other players, which they don't want to do. I thought they should have traded Chris Middleton for James Harden. That's a whole big, long ago thing. But Holiday's going to be better on both ends, offensively and defensively. Dude, you're supposed to be like a defensive stopper. And Chris Paul's good. This is not like, 26-year-old Chris Paul. He's like old man of the hill Chris Paul now, supposed to be able to dig deep like one game in a series and go berserk. And you're kind of getting torched. I know they have issues with their pick and roll defense, but Chris Paul is picking them apart, and it doesn't matter who's on him. Holiday's going to be better. And these are all of this builds just towards that this series is over. I mean, I don't think any of this is stuff that's going to get solved in the next few games because I just don't think the Bucks match up well. So I'm sticking to my prediction, Suns in 5.
I'm not there yet, only because I got to see what it looks like tonight in Game 4, just based on home court. Because I think Milwaukee plays a lot better in their own building. Now, they got beat by the Hawks, I believe, in that building, but I think they still play way better. So if it looks a little different in Game 3, I have a feeling the Game 3 is kind of the one they get here. It just has that feel. And then Game 4, I guess, is up for grabs. But I'm not there yet. I still think it could go 6 or 7 just based on home court. If you flip-flop here, get 2 at home, and then you're back in Phoenix, you're always going to be on the back foot in terms of home court. But I just feel like Milwaukee always plays well in their home building. Middleton's a guy that I feel like feeds off the crowd, and he was terrible in Game 2, so he's going to play well. And then we'll see. I mean, Giannis is what he is. I think he's elevated his game, at least in Game 2. And even Game 1, I thought he was really good. He didn't shoot or get as many chances. He only shot 11 times, I think.
Yeah.
But he's efficient, and he was good. But, yeah, what's around him has to be better.
Yeah. That split thing with Holiday and Bledsoe is scary.
That's not good. Yeah.
Not good. Not good company to be.
You're trying to improve that, not keep it the same. So
yeah. I agree. I think Milwaukee takes Game 3 tonight. I mean, because it's a must-have. You can't go down 3-0. It's just not possible. So I think they get Game 3. I don't know. This Suns team is just really good. Now, the one thing I'll say that could creep up for them is Torrey Craig got hurt. Saric is hurt. I haven't seen anything on Craig. I don't know if they said if he's done.
I don't think he was, if I saw it.
Because it looked bad. It looked no structural damage. His status is day-to-day. Don't know if he'll be playing. So that's good news. That's the only thing that would concern me for the Suns is that obviously it's been a long year. Everybody's worn down at this point. Now, luckily for them, not so much the fans, they are stretching this thing out. Game 7, if it gets there, it won't be until July 22nd, 11 days from now. So they're giving ample time for rest and recovery and travel. But I'd worry if I was the Suns that if Craig can't go, and we already know Sarge is done for the year, about some of the minutes that these guys are going to have to log in these games. This is not the regular season. You don't say, well, let's just play Booker 28 minutes tonight. No, you play guys however long it takes to win the game. So I'd worry about minutes accumulating and your depth being challenged. And if guys get in foul trouble, with a guy like Giannis, as much as he's bad at the line, he does rack up fouls on other teams because guys foul him intentionally in plays, not wanting to give up a dunk, not wanting to give up the layup. Hey, just hack him, wrap him up, we'll send him to the line. If you have a short bench, guys are picking up fouls, that could be something to watch down the line. If there's any hope for Milwaukee to win games and to stay in games and to get back in the series, it's got to be that. Giannis staying aggressive. If Phoenix has a short bench, you can challenge that depth, hopefully. Again, I still think Phoenix is far and away the better team. They're just on a roll right now. So we'll see. We'll have plenty of time. I mean, it's not. I think we're only gonna have 2 games between now and next show, right?
Really? Is that it?
I think so. Let's see.
They're really milking it.
I know. Game 3 tonight. Game 4 Wednesday. Sorry, Game 5 will be next Saturday. So the series could be over, or it could be a long way from being decided. Hopefully, I mean, I think it's going to be over, but
certainly looks that way right now.
It'd be good if it weren't.
Yeah, you get more games. But I mean, look, if I'm the Suns, your job is to go into Milwaukee and get 1 or 2. That's all you got to do, because then you're going back to Phoenix. You obviously play well there. We know that. So your goal here is Milwaukee's going to come out and hit you in the mouth tonight, and you lose. Well, you still got one more opportunity to kind of, get the series up 3-1, and then you're back home. So they got to get 1 or 2 here, and then we'll see what happens. Then I think maybe it's a realistic possibility the Suns win 5. Milwaukee just plays good on their home court, but I have a feeling they're going to shoot the lights out tonight and probably win Game 3, but Game 4 is going to be closer.
Yeah. Something that was brought up to me this week was about the ratings for the NBA, and they were like, this year better than last year's ratings, but still far behind 2019 when it was Raptors, Warriors, that the NBA's got a problem, blah, blah, blah. Can we just have a quick discussion on how, like, TV ratings are now, like, just patently flawed? They don't include streaming data. Yeah. YouTube TV, Hulu, Fubo, any of these other... If you have League Pass, if you just pay for the League Pass to watch games, doesn't include any of that data. So all the decision-making, all of the advertising decisions, and frankly, if it's television shows, if we were on a cable network right now, Christian, we'd be judged by our ratings, which is essentially now, the way Nielsen does it is they stick a box in X number of homes, and they calculate, they estimate. They don't have a box in everybody's television. They say, okay, we've got X number of people in this demographic, and we can just project, we can calculate how many people watched something. But your sampling now is TV cable subscribers. That's it. What demographic is that now, mostly? 40 to 60?
Yeah.
In that range? So you're really getting not the whole piece of the pie when you're sampling that. So until ratings include the streaming data, I know both me and you, YouTube TV. So, a lot of people use YouTube TV now, or other things, or the League Pass to watch games, to watch all sports. So, or sports programming, So I just think it's crazy that people are holding, the ratings up and saying, like, there's a problem, or, people get fired. Maybe not hosts, but a program gets canceled because of poor ratings. The hosts will get realigned and moved here or there. But the lower level guys, some tech guys or producers and stuff, they're the ones that get canned because of the bad ratings. Sorry, no, you're fired. Go away. Until they fix until they fix that, it's a stacked deck or a flawed deck. Which I just think is crazy. Like, it's a computers. We have the numbers. Like, why can't? Well, I don't know
there's
what.
There's got to be streaming data, right? No,
I'm sure they have it. I don't know why the TV ratings people don't want it or haven't. I don't know what the flaw is. Like, why that data could somehow not be worth using, or I know it's separate advertisers. So, like, if you advertise for YouTube TV. Like, we're watching different commercials than, say, what somebody watching on the television is watching.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So it's taken as 2 separate things, but it's headed that way anyways. Like, Nielsen, wouldn't you want to get in on this and figure it out now? Because the television with the box and cable, it's going away. It's going to go away. How many people
have it now? I mean, look, it's like the landline. How many people have a landline now? It's this kind of the similar thing. Like, the companies are still packaging, like, cable and landlines together, but how many people are using that as opposed to you scrap those, you pay for internet, and you stream it? How many people are doing that? I mean, I feel like now it's far more than it ever has been.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and it's cheaper. So a
Yeah.
lot of people the past year save money, ditch cable.
You can also get about 18 streaming services for lower price than cable itself. So you have ESPN Plus, which is going to be covering the NHL. It covers the UFC. You have Hulu Live TV. You have YouTube TV. All this stuff should some way be included in the ratings because that is probably now, I would say, the baseline for everything.
Yeah.
Like there's not many cable boxes sitting out there anymore. That's
No.
just not the way things are going.
No. And I mean, not to get, I don't know if it's representative, but we think about the demographic that probably still has cable boxes. A lot of them are going to be the people who are turned off by a lot of the things that are happening in sports, which is a lot of political commentary. You know, a lot of the shut up and dribble crowd probably has cable boxes.
Yeah. That's just,
So basically, they're the only ones you're sampling for sports viewership with Nielsen ratings, essentially, mostly.
boy, that fits an argument, doesn't it?
Yeah.
One side of it.
So Colin in the comment section, Nielsen needs to evolve their data collection and find ways to get streaming companies involved if broadcasting and sports still depend on it so much. Yeah, that's what's crazy. It'd be one thing to say, hey, these numbers, you know, why are you using the ratings? You know, they're not accurate. But like people, these companies themselves use this data to determine advertising and to determine the fates of people's jobs. Crazy that it wouldn't be representative of all the information. So I don't know. Just something that was brought up to me by a Lakers fan trying to say, see, this is why you need LeBron. And I was like, dude, the ratings are a joke.
That sounds about like your fan.
Ratings are a joke. So anyway, moving on. You mentioned the NHL coming to ESPN. Well, one step closer to that because the NHL season, as we both thought and both figured, is over. By the time we took to the airwaves next, the Tampa Bay Lightning will be keeping Lord Stanley's Cup. I've seen two sides of this, Christian. Some people say that these two championships have to be the hardest earned championships maybe in NHL history. And then I see the other side, which is that, yeah, they basically got to circumvent all of the rules to assemble the most talented team. So it was a given that they were going to win. It's no asterisk, but we're not like praising them as the greatest team ever assembled either because of how they did it. Where do you stand?
I'm like somewhere in the middle. Look, they're a really good team without the kind of bending the rules, I guess you could say.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like they should win at this point, right? I mean, they are the best team in the league if you just look at it on paper, especially when you get Kucherov and you get all these guys coming back for the playoffs. I mean, when they were ready 2 weeks prior, so they probably should be there in the end, and they should be in the conversation. Montreal should not have been there. I would have liked to see a better final. I'll be honest with you. I think
Colorado or Vegas.
Yeah, Montreal got the choking dogs of Tampa Bay or Toronto rather in Tampa Bay. I don't know why I said Tampa Bay. Yeah, they go one and the same, I guess. But
wishful
Toronto,
thinking. You were hoping that Tampa would somehow choke.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though it meant the Montreal Canadiens would have won.
I'm happy with this result. I'll say that. Just because Montreal should not have been in this situation. They hit lightning in a bottle after the first round when they faced Toronto, who chokes on everything, every year. So, and they wouldn't have been in the playoffs in a regular division year. So they got there. They got absolutely waxed. Montreal thought they won the cup after they won game 4, I think it was. And that is just not the case. You have to win 4 games, Montreal. So Montreal fans, 4 games to win the cup, not 1. You lost in 5 because Tampa won 4. Just to make that clear. So I'm okay with the result, but I do think I would say the bubble. It's a tough situation for everybody, but is it like everybody's there doing the same thing, and there's no fans, so it's a little bit less. I think it's tough to win, but it's also not the greatest showing because there's no fans and you're not traveling anywhere. So it's just a weird kind of year. I'm not saying asterisk. You win the championship, you win it. That's just how it goes. Same with this year. I mean, they should be the best team. They should be there in the end just based on their roster. And then you put the cap circumvention on top of it. They should still be there even more so. So it's kind of twofold. I'm not taking any titles away. You can't do that. They won the titles. They're a very good team, and they beat Montreal, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
However, the rule needs to be fixed. I'll say that.
Yes. 100%. That rule needs to be addressed. If it's not, that's a joke. Because this year was kind of like a bit of the we'd seen teams play around with this before. And I don't think
punished.
And I don't think anybody would care if you were hiding your seventh defenseman, right?
Right.
When you start withholding your best players to get around this, to get to the playoffs and assemble a team, that's when it's shenanigans. You got to call shenanigans and you got to fix it. Because then if you don't, it'll just get worse. It'll only get worse. So yeah, hopefully they address it. And actually, I got to think. I mean, Christian, they didn't assemble some of the best talent because according to the ESPYs, they don't have one of the best players in the NHL on their team. That would be Patrick Kane, who was awarded the NHL's Best Player award last night.
Huh. Okay. I didn't even see that. Who was in the conversation for it?
It was Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid and Patrick Kane. And Patrick Kane got it.
Okay. All right. So
off to a great start, ESPN.
Yeah.
He has 50 fewer points than McDavid. 50.
Connor McDavid in a 56-game season.
All right.
What?
And maybe you don't want to give it to like the Hart Trophy winner. You want to like divide. Then give it to Marchand, who had a better season. Like, what are we? Patrick Kane?
Yeah.
He's a great player. Historically, he had a good season. Top 5 in points. 15 goals, 51 assists.
Connor McDavid played 56 games, right? He had over 100 points. Normally, you play 82. I don't know if the ESPYs know this or ESPN, but you're getting the NHL, right? The package. You should probably maybe update yourselves on this. That is, I didn't even see that. I was too busy the UFC realm, but like, okay, yeah. ESPN, someone as my guy Will Ferrell would say as I'm blanking on his name now from Anchorman. Ron Burgundy would say someone at ESPN is getting fired.
Yeah. Now I don't know. Is that are the ESPYs a fan vote? I don't know. I mean, I've seen the ESPYs, but I don't know the mechanism behind the ESPYs. I don't know if that's a fan vote or not. But then that's even crazier because NHL fans, come on now. I'm disappointed in you. You'd think a fan vote for the NHL would be pretty accurate.
Let me see if I can find out because that is just okay. So fans can cast their vote on the ESPYs, I guess. So maybe it is at least partially fan based, but like,
I'm disappointed in the NHL fans.
If you're a fan of the NHL and you voted for Patrick Kane over Connor McDavid, who put up 100 points in 50 games, people don't realize this. 100 points in 50 games. That's like 2 points a game. That is, you're fired.
Insane. So I just wanted to bring that up. Lastly, Christian, you talked about the bubble and not having fans. News this week out of the Olympics. No fans. Because Japan is shutting it down again. Because of a COVID outbreak and because of the Delta variant. So the games are still happening as far as we know.
As far as we know, yeah. I mean, they're just going to
full steam ahead. But we got, 3 weeks? 2.5 weeks.
2.5, yeah.
Before it starts. It's a long time. And so all these arenas and everything going to be empty. which is a shame.
Can't you just feel the buzz? 2 weeks out now, I'm feeling it.
I mean, I was excited. I got excited because I was watching the Tour de France and excited for some of these guys. A lot of the talk is you got the Tour and then you get the Olympics right afterwards. So you're going to see a lot of these same people there, which I think is kind of cool. And I think probably one of the best Olympic bike races was 5 years ago in Rio, because it was going up into these big mountains and then dropping like thousands of feet over just a few miles.
Right,
These crazy downhill finishes. So that's exciting. But yeah, you're right. I mean, any of the other stuff, so much of the buzz, so much of what makes it great is like the crowd being there. Like just watching a diving event or a field event or any of the gymnastic event. Is it going to be the same if there's not people going crazy when somebody pulls off something nuts?
That's where my disappointment lies. Like, I'll still watch it just because I think, you're watching world-class athletes. But so much of what brings, like, these sports, we see it. Like, you see it in the NHL. You see it in the NBA. When fans are in the buildings, it's just, there's nothing else like it.
Somebody, think about all the, 100-meter dash, right? Somebody finishes, and they're running. They're pumping up the crowd. They're all excited.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they run a race in an empty arena. Exactly.
That's all they're here, right there, dead silence.
Where's the crowd? So disappointing, but not surprising. Disappointing, but not surprising.
Unfortunately not, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing that was disappointing and surprising a bit, so Sha'Carri Richardson had a month-long suspension for the marijuana use, would have been eligible to compete in the relay events if the team wanted to bring her and take her. And they opted not to.
Yeah.
Which I think it's weird. I understand their reasoning that she was suspended in the spirit of the suspension. It wouldn't be fair to the athletes who have to take her place and qualify and do other things for her to just be gifted a spot. Still didn't feel right though.
Especially with the circumstances.
We
mentioned this last week, right? Like, weed is not on the same level as steroids and stuff. I just don't understand. I do see a lot of people saying, well, she didn't follow the rules and this and that, which I guess I agree with, right? I think we both agree with that. She technically, I guess, within the rules, did not follow it. And she knows the rules, but also the circumstances of it with her mother, and also just in general, marijuana is not something that should be on the same level as these other performance enhancers. It's not even a performance enhancer.
Yep. Yeah. Crazy. I want to end, Christian, with a non-sports thing because I'm interested in your opinion on this.
Uh-oh.
I'm interested in your opinion.
Where are we going with this?
So today, Richard Branson is going to be flying into space. Billionaire Richard Branson. On his own spaceship, the Virgin Galactic spaceship. He'll be going into low Earth orbit. Part of the whole privatization of space travel. So hopefully in the near future, you can book your flight and go to space for a while. Or you can go to the moon. They want to establish these. I want to know, Christian, will you be getting on a spaceship and going to space? When they say, hey, get your Charlie card to the moon, will you be getting in line, or will you say, planet Earth is for me and I'm staying right here?
Let me just ask you, what do you think I'm going to say?
I just said it. it. You were born here. You're staying with your feet on this terrestrial body and nowhere else.
Unless there's a really nice resort on Mars or something, I'm good. I'm good right where I am. So unless we're going swimming on Mars and you get there in one piece, then maybe in what are we?
Hey man, there's this great sports book out on
3053 maybe, but I'll probably be dead by then. Actually, I'll definitely be dead by then.
No,
but 2021, you will not see me anywhere but planet Earth.
What year did you just throw out? What was the first year you threw out?
3031.
Oh, 3031. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said 2053, and I was like, dude, that's like 30 years. Come on, you gotta make it till then.
Anything can happen. I don't know.
Oh, goodness grief.
But 31, I think I'll be gone by then. But the point still stands. Anytime in the 2000s, I will be on planet Earth. If you want to come find me, I will be somewhere on Earth.
So if you make it to so what you're saying is 3000, the year 3000, you'll get on a plane.
If somehow I'm still here, revived magically, then I will possibly get on one, because I have a feeling by then there might be stuff to do in space.
Not even what about 100 years from now? What about 21.
I could be talked into it at that age.
You'd be open to it.
Yeah, I'd be open to it. At that point, I mean, I probably won't be able to walk.
Actually,
but...
you'd probably just say, one-way trip, just shoot me out. Let me see the stars, baby.
Yeah, well,
send me off with the Cassini space monitor and the Voyager satellites. To the Oort cloud we go.
Actually, you just put something in my head here. I think if there is ever another point in my life, like if there could be sometime before then, before I turn the age of even 50, that there might be a point where I just say, you know what, Richard Branson, give me a ticket in a one-way ticket and shoot me off into space. I'm good. I'm good with Earth. On to the next.
Pete in Gansett says there might be golf courses on Mars by 3033, but the sand traps will be brutal.
True. Yes. Yeah. And actually that makes a good point. The good thing about golf is it's a forever sport. So maybe in 2070 I could be playing golf in space.
Yeah. Awesome. Fantastic. That'll do it for this edition of the 360
Did that meet your
Sports Show.
expectations?
Oh, absolutely. I woke up this morning and saw the notification about this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to Christian about this.
Yeah.
I need to talk to Christian about this. I mean, I'm with you. I ain't get it. What is it? Magneto in the third X-Men movie, in chess, the pawns go first. Let the masses test all the. I still haven't even been on an airplane yet, and we've been doing that for 100 years. So, that a lot of that is just circumstance. But I'm not gonna just be lining up to be strapped to a rocket.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the Woody of that rocket. I'm just gonna be strapped to Buzz Lightyear, and off I go. 2050, here I come
to infinity and beyond.
Yeah. And definitely, and I'm aiming.
Wait, this is the second we already had. You've already been Buzz Lightyear, so now you're saying you're Woody and you're Buzz Lightyear. Because remember we were talking about getting the bubble.
That's true.
you wanted the Buzz Lightyear suit.
Yep.
So you're just working your way through Toy Story characters.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good reference.
Childhood dream. So anyway, that'll do it for this edition of the 360 Sports Show. If you missed us live, you can catch us as a podcast through Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can always comment in the live streams. We're live every Sunday at 11 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. And you can always email the show, the360sportshow@gmail.com. I'm Andrew Pizzelli. He's Christian Lauber. Have a great week, everybody.
See ya.